Once upon a time, in a faraway land called Washington Heights. Say it so it doesn't disappear.
Washington Heights!
Well, I saw In the Heights when I was doing my first movie over a decade ago, and it blew me away.
Pop the grate at the crack of dawn.
I mean, I'm not from Washington Heights, I'm not from New York, I'm on the other side of the country. I grew up in a Chinese restaurant, but I saw myself in it. I knew what it felt like to grow up in an immigrant community where aunties and uncles are taking care of you and putting their dreams on you. It was always supposed to come from a source of true emotional expression, and that's what every single one brought. Every day on set, it felt like a family, especially because we were literally in Lin-Manuel Miranda's hometown and on the blocks that he grew up in.
Cherry, strawberry, and just for today, I got my mate.
What does a hero, what does a villain look like? We had to think outside the box of how to find these people because they weren't necessarily represented. They not only had to be able to act, they had to be able to sing, they had to be able to dance, and they had to be able to integrate all three of those languages fluidly and like butter. That's a very almost impossible task. And it took us a good year and a half to really find everybody. One of the most amazing days of my life shooting a movie was when we were shooting Carnival de Barra. And this song is such a celebration that when we performed, we did the whole number. It wasn't the last take, but one of the last takes, I called cut, and nobody stops when I cut. Everyone's still celebrating, dancing around, and they look up, and Lin is in a fire escape, because that's where his character is, and he's trapped in because there's a camera up there, so he can't move. And when everyone looks up, everyone starts chanting, Lin, 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 Lin. And it was amazing to pay honor to him. The crew started jumping up and down, the background starts jumping up and down, because he manifested this. He manifested this when he couldn't get a role for himself. He wrote a role for himself. He wrote a role for his community. And this was now the movie version of that. And all these people were working because of him.
Can we make a little noise tonight?
I think you can never take that moment away. It was the most beautiful moment. Everyone was in tears. To me, those are the images that we really wanted to sear into and show on the big screen to really feel. Through the Atmos sound, through Dolby Vision, through the audience that is sitting there, the energy there. I think it's easy to think of the big things for Dolby Atmos that affect the storytelling. 96,000 when we're at the pool. There's so many layers. And remember, this is a musical. So we're dealing with vocals from the lyrics that you have to understand. You're dealing with real life things like pool water that's happening. You're dealing with crowd that's cheering and screaming. You're dealing with the actual instruments of the music itself. You're dealing with Foley. And all these things have to play together. And when you're in an edit room, it drives you crazy because you can't have the kind of control that you need to have the layers that are necessary for a musical like this, where it feels like it's real life. But in Dolby Atmos, you get all the layers. So if that dialogue is coming straight from the center, and yet you hear the chorus coming from the back, so you hear percussions coming from different sides, and the pool around you, it just separates things. So you have both clarity, but also the layers that you need to tell that story.
We all had a sueñito, and when it came to dreams, we had to keep scraping by.
I recognized the power as a storyteller to utilize those tools. And I know that the audience, whether they realize it or not, are getting a much better experience and will get the story more directly. Dolby was always the brand of excellence. It was always, you were gonna get the best, and how the colors, the dynamics, how wide they could be, and how literally the stuff in our head could actually be on the screen now, and how those highlights could pop a scene if we wanted it to be. And so that was amazing already to know that, oh, the audience can actually see it the way we're seeing it and as intended in this room right now. And so to see it on this screen, it was just such a relief. That is everything that we wanted in this movie. And only Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos is that possible. Where I know that when I send my family to that theater, they're gonna get the experience that I want them to, and to know that there's a guarantee in that is everything for me.
I just want to see the whole world through her eyes.
Let's go!
It was always about emotion first, and that music and dance was always a function of communicating what words could never communicate. It is a form of emotional storytelling. I think the difference between a storyteller and someone who thinks about stories is someone who actually goes and does it. And so I would say to the storytellers, if you are a real storyteller, you do that. You tell stories. Whatever medium it may be, this is the moment to do that. This is your calling. If you're hearing this now, this is the moment to clear away the noise and say, if you are a true storyteller, you are what you do every day, then go tell a story. As small as it is, if you get it wrong, it's fine. The more stories you tell, that's the only way you're gonna get better. So tell stories.